Settle into the Sleepy Mind channel. Today, we will explore the pineapple plant. What appears to be a single fruit is not a single fruit at all, but the final result of many individual flowers slowly merging together into one structure. Each small segment across its surface marks the exact place where a separate flower once bloomed, grew, and fused into the whole. Over time, these individual parts do not remain separate. They press together, expand, and combine until they become something that appears seamless, even though it began as many. What seems simple at first glance is actually the record of a long and layered process, one that transforms dozens of individual growth points into a single, unified form. If you like stories like these, like and subscribe. More videos are posted weekly. The pineapple plant is a tropical fruiting plant that grows close to the ground, forming a circular arrangement of stiff, spiny leaves that spread outward from a central point. These leaves are not soft or flexible, but firm and structured, designed to endure the heat and dryness of the environments where the plant thrives. At the center of this rosette, a single fruit begins to develop, rising gradually as the plant directs its stored energy inward. Unlike many fruiting plants that produce clusters or repeated harvests, the pineapple focuses entirely on creating one fruit at a time, concentrating its resources into a single, deliberate outcome. That fruit is not formed in the way most fruits are. Instead of developing from one flower, it begins as a cluster of many flowers arranged tightly together. Each flower blooms in sequence, forming a dense spiral pattern around a central core. As these flowers complete their growth, they begin to swell, expanding outward while remaining pressed against one another. Over time, the boundaries between them begin to blur. What started as many individual parts slowly merges into one structure, creating the pineapple's distinctive surface pattern. Each of the small repeating segments, visible on the outside, marks where a flower once existed, forming a visible map of the plant's development. In wild pineapple plants, these flowers can be pollinated, resulting in the formation of seeds within the fruit. Each flower has the potential to contribute a seed, embedding it within the structure as it develops. However, most cultivated pineapples are grown to be seedless, making them more suitable for consumption. The absence of seeds does not interrupt the process of fruit formation. Instead, the plant continues to merge its flowers into a single fruit without producing viable seeds, allowing the structure to remain smooth and consistent throughout. This seedless quality also changes how pineapples are grown and reproduced. Rather than relying on seeds, new plants are created from parts of the existing plant. This results in new growth that is genetically identical to the original, ensuring consistency across entire fields. Each plant becomes part of a repeating cycle, where the characteristics of the fruit remain stable from one generation to the next. This uniformity is one of the defining features of pineapple cultivation, allowing growers to predict both appearance and quality with a high degree of reliability. The structure of the pineapple plant supports this focused and controlled growth. The leaves form a protective and efficient system, capturing sunlight while shielding the center of the plant. Their spiny edges discourage animals from feeding on them, while their firm structure allows them to withstand strong sunlight and dry conditions. These leaves are arranged in a way that channels water toward the center, ensuring that any available moisture is directed where it is needed most. At the same time, their design prevents excess water from remaining trapped for too long, reducing the risk of rot. The pineapple plant belongs to the bromeliad family, but it differs from many of its relatives in a key way. While many bromeliads grow on trees and absorb moisture from the air, the pineapple grows directly in the soil. It is a terrestrial bromeliad, rooted in the ground and adapted to draw its resources from the surface layer of the soil. This distinction shapes how the plant interacts with its environment, influencing both its growth and its resilience. Its origin lies in South America, where it developed in regions that often present challenging growing conditions. These environments are not always rich in nutrients, and rainfall can be inconsistent. In response, the pineapple plant evolved to survive with limited resources, developing systems that allow it to conserve water and make efficient use of what is available. This adaptability is one of the reasons the plant has been able to spread so widely across tropical regions. Over time, the pineapple was carried beyond its native habitat by early explorers, moving across the Caribbean and into the Pacific. Long before modern transport systems existed, the plant was already being introduced to new environments. This movement was not accidental. The fruit's unique structure and flavor made it highly valued, encouraging people to transport and cultivate it wherever conditions allowed. As a result, the pineapple became established in multiple regions, each offering the warmth and sunlight required for its growth. Despite its global presence today, the plant's needs remain specific. It thrives in warm climates with plenty of sunlight and good airflow. It does not require rich soil, but it does require soil that drains well. Too much moisture can be harmful, particularly around the base of the plant, where water can collect and lead to decay. This makes drainage more important than fertility, shaping how the plant is cultivated in agricultural settings. The leaves play a central role in the plant's ability to survive in these conditions. Each leaf is coated in a waxy layer that reduces water loss, helping the plant retain moisture even during extended dry periods. This coating acts as a protective barrier, slowing the evaporation of water from the surface. It allows the plant to maintain its internal balance, even when external conditions are harsh. Beyond this physical adaptation, the pineapple plant also uses a specialized form of photosynthesis that further conserves water. Instead of opening its pores during the day, when heat would cause rapid moisture loss, the plant opens them at night. During these cooler hours, it exchanges gases with the environment, capturing what it needs while minimizing water loss. This process allows the plant to continue functioning efficiently without exposing itself to unnecessary stress during the hottest part of the day. This nighttime activity is part of a broader system of conservation. The plant does not simply endure its environment, but adjusts its behavior to align with it. By shifting its internal processes to cooler periods, it reduces strain and improves efficiency. During the day, when sunlight is strongest, the plant focuses on using the energy it has stored, rather than exposing itself to further loss. The root system of the pineapple plant reflects this same strategy. Rather than extending deep into the soil, the roots spread outward near the surface. This allows the plant to capture water quickly when it becomes available, making use of even light rainfall. It also means that the plant is less dependent on deep water reserves, relying instead on its ability to absorb and retain moisture efficiently. The combination of shallow roots, waxy leaves, and nighttime gas exchange creates a system that is finely tuned to its environment. Each part of the plant contributes to its ability to survive with limited resources, turning what might be considered a disadvantage into a strength. This allows the pineapple to grow in places where other crops might struggle, making it both resilient and adaptable. Growth in the pineapple plant is not rapid. It develops slowly, building its structure over time. This gradual process allows the plant to store energy in the form of sugars, which accumulate within its tissues. These stored sugars become the foundation of the fruit, providing the sweetness that defines the pineapple when it is fully developed. This accumulation does not happen quickly. The plant invests months, and often more than a year, into preparing for the production of its fruit. During this time, it continues to grow, capturing sunlight and converting it into stored energy. This energy is then directed toward the center of the plant, where the fruit will eventually form. When the fruit begins to develop, it draws on this stored energy, expanding gradually as the individual components merge together. The result is a structure that reflects both the plant's long period of preparation and its focused investment in a single outcome. The pineapple is not the result of a brief burst of growth, but the culmination of a sustained and deliberate process. Once the fruit has fully developed, the main plant does not produce another. Its role in fruit production is complete. However, the cycle does not end there. The plant begins to produce side shoots, known as pups, which grow from its base. These shoots develop into new plants, continuing the process and ensuring that the cycle of growth carries on. Each of these new plants is a direct copy of the original, carrying the same characteristics and producing similar fruit. This continuity creates a system where each generation follows the same pattern, maintaining consistency across time. The transition from one plant to the next is seamless, forming a continuous cycle of growth and renewal. In this way, the pineapple plant operates with precision and patience. It does not produce quickly or repeatedly, but focuses its energy into a single, carefully developed fruit. This approach reflects a balance between efficiency and investment, where each stage of growth contributes to a final result that has been built over time. What appears at first to be a simple fruit is, in reality, the product of a complex and structured process. From the merging of individual flowers to the slow accumulation of sugars, every part of the pineapple's formation reflects a system that is both deliberate and refined. It is a plant that does not rush, but builds steadily, transforming many small beginnings into one complete and unified whole. The pineapple plant is often associated with places like Hawaii, yet its true origin lies in South America. Long before it became a symbol of tropical regions around the world, it developed in environments where survival depended on efficiency rather than abundance. This origin shaped the plant in ways that still define how it grows today. It is not a plant that requires rich soil or constant rainfall. Instead, it thrives in conditions that would challenge many other crops, adapting itself to make use of what is available rather than depending on excess. Unlike many members of the bromeliad family, which grow attached to trees and absorb moisture from the air, the pineapple plant grows directly in the ground. It is a terrestrial bromeliad, rooted in soil rather than suspended above it. This distinction changes how the plant gathers its resources. While other bromeliads rely on rainwater collecting in their leaves, the pineapple must draw its water and nutrients from the surface layer of the soil. Its entire structure reflects this difference, from the way its roots spread outward to the way its leaves manage moisture. The soil in which pineapples grow is often sandy and low in nutrients. In many agricultural systems, such soil would be considered poor, unsuitable for productive farming. However, the pineapple plant has adapted to these conditions. It does not depend on deep, nutrient-rich earth. Instead, it uses a shallow root system that spreads outward just beneath the surface. These roots are not designed to reach deep reserves of water. They are designed to capture what is available quickly, absorbing moisture from rainfall before it disappears. This shallow root system also means that the plant is closely tied to the conditions at the surface. It responds quickly to changes in moisture, benefiting from light rains, but also vulnerable to prolonged dryness. However, the plant compensates for this by conserving water effectively. It does not rely on constant access to moisture. Instead, it stores and manages water carefully, ensuring that even limited supplies can support its growth. The leaves of the pineapple plant play a central role in this process. Each leaf is coated with a waxy layer that reduces the loss of water. This coating acts as a barrier, slowing evaporation and helping the plant retain moisture even under intense sunlight. The leaves are not simply passive structures. They actively contribute to the plant's ability to survive in dry conditions, forming part of a system that prioritizes conservation over consumption. In addition to their waxy coating, the leaves are arranged in a way that supports water management. Their shape directs rainwater toward the center of the plant, guiding it to the area where it can be most effectively used. At the same time, the structure of the plant allows excess water to drain away, preventing it from collecting in a way that could cause damage. This balance between retention and drainage is essential. Too little water would limit growth, while too much could lead to rot. Beyond these physical adaptations, the pineapple plant uses a specialized form of photosynthesis that further enhances its ability to conserve water. Instead of opening its pores during the day, when heat would increase water loss, the plant opens them at night. During these cooler hours, it exchanges gases with the environment, capturing what it needs while minimizing the amount of moisture that escapes. This process allows the plant to function efficiently without exposing itself to the stress of daytime heat. This nighttime activity reflects a broader pattern in how the pineapple plant interacts with its environment. It does not simply endure the conditions around it. It adjusts its behavior to work with them. By shifting its internal processes to cooler periods, it reduces strain and improves efficiency. During the day, when the sun is strongest, the plant focuses on using the energy it has stored rather than taking in more from the environment. The ability to conserve water gives the pineapple plant a significant advantage in dry climates. While many fruit plants require regular watering, the pineapple can tolerate periods of drought. Its structure allows it to maintain its internal balance even when external conditions are less favorable. This resilience makes it suitable for regions where water is limited, allowing it to grow in environments that might not support other crops. This adaptability also played a role in the plant's spread beyond its native region. Early explorers recognized the value of the pineapple, not only for its flavor, but also for its ability to grow in challenging conditions. As they traveled, they carried the plant with them, introducing it to new regions across the Caribbean and the Pacific. This movement occurred long before modern systems of transport, showing how highly the plant was valued. As the pineapple was introduced to new environments, it found conditions that suited its needs. Warm climates with plenty of sunlight allowed it to thrive, while its ability to tolerate poor soil made it easier to establish. Over time, it became associated with regions far from its original home, leading to the common misconception that it originated in places like Hawaii. In reality, its presence in these areas is the result of human cultivation rather than natural distribution. The plant's preference for warm conditions is closely tied to its sensitivity to cold. Pineapples cannot tolerate frost. Even a mild freeze can damage the plant, disrupting its growth and preventing fruit development. This sensitivity limits where the plant can be grown, confining it to regions where temperatures remain consistently warm. It is not a plant that can adapt to cold climates. Its structure and processes are designed specifically for heat. In addition to temperature, airflow plays an important role in the plant's health. While the pineapple can tolerate dry conditions, it does not thrive in environments where moisture becomes trapped around its base. Good airflow helps to dry excess moisture, reducing the risk of rot and disease. This is why growers often choose locations with natural air movement or design planting systems that allow air to circulate freely between plants. The balance between moisture and dryness is a constant factor in pineapple cultivation. The plant requires enough water to support its growth, but not so much that it becomes waterlogged. This balance is often achieved through careful management of the growing environment. Raised beds or sloped ground can help water drain away, preventing it from collecting around the plant's center. In this way, the conditions that support the pineapple are not defined by abundance, but by control. The pineapple plant's ability to grow in poor soil also reflects a broader principle of efficiency. It does not rely on large amounts of nutrients. Instead, it uses what is available in a focused and deliberate way. This allows it to produce fruit even in conditions that would not support more demanding crops. Its success comes not from abundance, but from adaptation. This efficiency extends to how the plant uses energy. The sugars that it produces through photosynthesis are stored gradually over time, building a reserve that will later support fruit development. This process is not rapid. It requires patience, with the plant accumulating energy slowly before directing it toward the formation of its fruit. This long preparation reflects the plant's overall strategy, where growth is steady and deliberate, rather than quick and expansive. The combination of shallow roots, water-conserving leaves, and specialized photosynthesis creates a system that is finely tuned to its environment. Each part of the plant contributes to its ability to survive and produce fruit under conditions that might otherwise be limiting. This integration of structure and function allows the pineapple to maintain a balance between growth and conservation, ensuring that it can continue to develop even when resources are limited. The spread of the pineapple across different regions also highlights the role of human influence in shaping its distribution. While the plant itself is adapted to specific conditions, its presence in various parts of the world is the result of deliberate movement and cultivation. This relationship between plant and people reflects the value placed on the fruit, as well as the recognition of its ability to grow in diverse environments. As the pineapple became established in new regions, it continued to follow the same principles that defined its origin. It required warmth, sunlight, and well-drained soil. It relied on its ability to conserve water and use nutrients efficiently. These characteristics remained constant, even as the plant adapted to different locations. In this way, the pineapple carries its origin with it, maintaining the traits that allowed it to survive in its native environment. Understanding the origin and environment of the pineapple plant reveals how deeply its structure is connected to its surroundings. It is not simply a plant that happens to grow in tropical regions. It is a plant that has been shaped by those regions, developing systems that allow it to thrive where others might struggle. Its ability to grow in poor soil, conserve water, and tolerate drought reflects a design that is both practical and precise. This connection between plant and environment continues to influence how pineapples are grown today. Farmers must work with these natural tendencies, providing conditions that support the plant's strengths while avoiding those that could cause harm. By understanding the plant's origin, they can create environments that allow it to perform at its best, ensuring that the fruit it produces reflects the full potential of its growth. The pineapple plant manages water with a level of precision that reflects the conditions in which it evolved. In environments where rainfall may be limited and heat is constant, survival depends not on abundance, but on conservation. Every part of the plant contributes to this balance, working together to reduce loss and make the most of what is available. Rather than relying on frequent access to water, the pineapple is structured to hold on to moisture and use it slowly, extending its usefulness over time. One of the most important features in this system is the surface of the leaves. Each leaf is covered in a waxy cuticle that acts as a protective barrier. This layer reduces the rate at which water evaporates from the plant, helping it retain moisture even under intense sunlight. Without this coating, water would be lost quickly, especially during the hottest parts of the day. Instead, the cuticle slows this process, allowing the plant to maintain its internal balance for longer periods. This protective surface does more than simply reduce evaporation. It also shields the leaf from external conditions, creating a stable environment within the plant's tissues. By limiting exposure, the plant avoids unnecessary stress, preserving both water and energy. This allows it to continue functioning efficiently even when the surrounding conditions are harsh. Beyond this physical barrier, the pineapple plant uses a specialized form of photosynthesis that further supports its ability to conserve water. Most plants open their pores during the day to exchange gases, but this process also allows water to escape. In hot climates, this can lead to significant water loss. The pineapple avoids this problem by shifting its activity to the night. When temperatures are lower and the air is cooler, the plant opens its pores, taking in carbon dioxide while releasing minimal moisture. This process, known as CAM photosynthesis, allows the plant to separate gas exchange from the hottest part of the day. During the night, it gathers what it needs. During the day, it uses the stored carbon dioxide to continue its internal processes without reopening its pores. This separation reduces water loss while maintaining the ability to produce energy, creating a system that is both efficient and sustainable. The timing of this process is critical. By aligning its activity with cooler temperatures, the pineapple reduces the pressure placed on its water reserves. It avoids the rapid evaporation that would occur if it followed the same pattern as other plants. Instead, it works in harmony with its environment, adjusting its behavior to match the conditions it faces. The root system of the pineapple plant reflects the same principle of efficiency. Unlike deep-rooted plants that search for water far below the surface, the pineapple spreads its roots outward, just beneath the top layer of soil. This shallow system allows it to capture water quickly when it becomes available, especially after light rainfall. The roots are positioned where moisture first enters the ground, enabling the plant to absorb it before it evaporates or drains away. This approach has both advantages and limitations. While the plant can take advantage of brief periods of moisture, it does not have access to deeper reserves of water. This makes it dependent on its ability to conserve what it gathers. The combination of shallow roots and water-saving leaves creates a system where capture and conservation work together. The plant absorbs water quickly, then holds onto it as long as possible. Because the roots remain near the surface, they are also sensitive to the conditions of the soil. They benefit from soil that drains well, preventing water from lingering and causing damage. Excess moisture can lead to rot, particularly at the base of the plant. This is why well-drained soil is more important than soil rich in nutrients. The plant does not require large amounts of nutrients, but it does require a balance that avoids both dryness and saturation. The interaction between the roots and the leaves forms a complete system of water management. The roots gather moisture when it is available, while the leaves ensure that it is not lost too quickly. This balance allows the plant to function in environments where water is not consistently present. It does not rely on constant supply, but instead creates stability through conservation. Nutrient use follows a similar pattern of efficiency. The pineapple plant does not demand high levels of nutrients from the soil. Instead, it uses what is available in a controlled and deliberate way. This allows it to grow in soils that might not support other crops, maintaining steady development without requiring rich conditions. The plant focuses on using resources effectively rather than consuming them in large quantities. This controlled use of nutrients also influences how the plant grows. Energy is directed toward essential functions, supporting both the structure of the plant and the eventual development of its fruit. Rather than producing excessive leaf growth, the plant maintains a balance between expansion and storage. This balance ensures that the energy collected through photosynthesis is preserved for later stages of growth. The relationship between water and nutrients is closely connected. Water is not only essential for hydration, but also for transporting nutrients within the plant. By conserving water, the pineapple ensures that this transport system remains stable. The movement of nutrients continues even when external conditions are dry, allowing the plant to maintain its internal processes. The structure of the leaves also contributes to this transport. Their arrangement allows them to capture sunlight efficiently, providing the energy needed for photosynthesis. This energy supports the conversion of carbon dioxide into sugars, which are then distributed throughout the plant. These sugars serve as both a source of energy and a form of storage, accumulating over time as the plant prepares for fruit development. The slow and steady accumulation of these resources reflects the plant's overall strategy. It does not rush its growth, but builds gradually, storing what it needs for the future. This approach allows it to remain stable even when conditions change, providing a consistent foundation for its development. Environmental conditions can influence how effectively this system operates. In areas with too little water, the plant may struggle to maintain its balance, leading to reduced growth. In areas with too much water, the risk of rot increases, particularly around the crown where the leaves meet. This sensitivity highlights the importance of maintaining the right conditions where moisture is present but not excessive. Airflow also plays a role in supporting this balance. Moving air helps to dry excess moisture from the plant, reducing the risk of disease while allowing the leaves to function effectively. Without sufficient airflow, moisture can become trapped, creating conditions that are less favorable for growth. This is why pineapple plants are often spaced in a way that allows air to circulate freely, supporting both water management and overall health. The combination of these factors creates a system that is highly adapted to its environment. The pineapple plant does not rely on any single feature, but on the interaction of many. The waxy leaves, nighttime gas exchange, shallow roots, and controlled nutrient use all work together to support its survival. Each part reinforces the others, creating a network of processes that maintain stability. This system also explains why the pineapple plant is able to grow in areas where other crops might fail. Its ability to conserve water, use nutrients efficiently, and adapt its processes to environmental conditions allows it to thrive under limitations. It turns scarcity into an advantage, using its structure to make the most of what is available. The effectiveness of this system becomes even more apparent over time. As the plant continues to grow, it builds upon the resources it has conserved, gradually increasing its capacity to produce fruit. The water it has retained and the nutrients it has absorbed contribute to the accumulation of sugars, which will later define the quality of the pineapple. This preparation is not visible in the early stages of growth, but it is essential to the final outcome. The plant invests in its future, storing energy and maintaining balance so that it can support the development of its fruit when the time comes. This long-term approach reflects a strategy that values consistency over speed, ensuring that each stage of growth contributes to the next. In this way, the pineapple plant demonstrates how structure and behavior can work together to create efficiency. It does not depend on ideal conditions, but adapts to the ones it has. By managing water carefully and using nutrients with precision, it maintains a steady path of growth, preparing itself for the moment when its stored energy will be transformed into fruit. The pineapple plant does not grow quickly, and its development follows a slow and deliberate cycle that reflects its careful use of energy. From the moment it begins to establish itself, the plant enters a long period of preparation. During this time, it is not focused on producing fruit, but on building the structure and reserves that will eventually support that process. This stage can last for a significant amount of time, often extending up to 2 years before the plant produces its first pineapple. Throughout this period, the plant continues to grow its leaves, expanding outward in its characteristic rosette shape. Each leaf contributes to the plant's ability to capture sunlight, which is essential for photosynthesis. As energy is produced, it is not used immediately. Instead, it is stored gradually within the plant's tissues, forming a reserve that will later be directed toward fruit development. This slow accumulation of energy is one of the defining features of the pineapple's growth cycle. Unlike many fruiting plants that produce multiple harvests over time, the pineapple follows a different pattern. It invests all of its stored energy into producing a single fruit. This means every stage of its early growth is part of a larger process, building toward one outcome rather than many. The plant does not divide its resources between multiple fruits. It concentrates them, ensuring that when the time comes, it can support the development of one fully formed pineapple. As the plant matures, it reaches a point where it is ready to transition from growth to reproduction. At this stage, the energy it has stored begins to be redirected toward the center of the plant. This shift marks the beginning of fruit formation. The process does not happen suddenly, but unfolds gradually as the plant begins to develop a central structure that will eventually become the pineapple. The development of the fruit is closely tied to the flowering stage. A series of flowers begin to form in a dense arrangement at the center of the plant. These flowers do not all bloom at once. Instead, they appear in a sequence, creating a layered pattern that builds over time. Each flower contributes to the overall structure, and as they develop, they begin to merge into a single unit. This merging process is what gives the pineapple its unique form. Each individual flower produces a small fruit, and these small fruits grow together around a central core. As they expand, they press against one another, gradually fusing into a single structure. The boundaries between them become less distinct, forming the continuous surface of the pineapple. What began as many separate parts becomes one unified whole. The plant's long period of preparation is essential to this process. The energy stored over months and years is used to support the development of the fruit, providing the resources needed for growth and expansion. Without this preparation, the plant would not be able to produce a fruit of the same size or quality. The pineapple is therefore the result of a sustained investment built up over time. Once the fruit has fully developed, the main plant completes its role in reproduction. It does not produce another pineapple. Instead, it shifts its focus toward creating new growth in the form of side shoots, often referred to as pups. These shoots emerge from the base of the plant, growing outward and upward as independent structures. Over time, they develop into new plants, each capable of producing its own fruit. These new plants are not genetically different from the original. They are clones, carrying the same characteristics and producing fruit that is similar in appearance and quality. This method of reproduction ensures consistency, allowing entire fields of pineapple plants to produce uniform crops. For growers, this uniformity is important as it allows for predictable outcomes and easier management. The presence of these side shoots creates a continuous cycle of growth. While the original plant completes its life cycle, the new plants begin theirs. This overlap allows the process to continue without interruption, maintaining a steady progression from one generation to the next. The field remains active, even as individual plants reach the end of their fruiting stage. The timing of this cycle is influenced by both the plant's internal processes and external conditions. The initial growth phase requires stable conditions that allow the plant to build its energy reserves. Any disruption during this period, such as drought or damage, can delay the development of the fruit. Because the process takes so long, even a short interruption can have lasting effects. This extended timeline also means that pineapple cultivation requires careful planning. Growers must think not only about the current season, but about the years ahead. Each plant represents a long-term investment, and the success of the harvest depends on maintaining stable conditions throughout the entire growth cycle. This makes pineapple farming different from crops that can be planted and harvested within a single year. The slow growth of the pineapple plant also affects how it responds to environmental changes. Because it develops over such a long period, it must be able to adapt to variations in temperature, moisture, and sunlight. Its ability to conserve water and use nutrients efficiently supports this adaptability, allowing it to maintain steady growth even when conditions fluctuate. As the fruit begins to form, the plant continues to direct energy toward its development. The sugars that have been stored over time are gradually concentrated within the fruit, contributing to its flavor and texture. This process continues until the pineapple reaches its full size, at which point it is ready to be harvested. The completion of the fruit marks a transition for the plant. Its role in producing that fruit is finished, but its contribution to the cycle continues through the growth of new plants. These plants carry forward the same characteristics, ensuring that the next generation will follow a similar pattern of development. The growth and reproduction cycle of the pineapple plant reflects a balance between patience and precision. It does not produce quickly or repeatedly, but focuses on a single outcome, supported by a long period of preparation. Each stage of growth builds upon the last, creating a process that is both structured and continuous. This cycle also highlights the importance of time in the development of the pineapple. The fruit is not the result of a brief period of growth, but the culmination of months and years of preparation. Every stage, from the expansion of leaves to the storage of sugars, contributes to the final result. The pineapple is therefore not just a product of growth, but a reflection of the time and energy invested in its creation. The relationship between the main plant and its side shoots ensures that this process does not end with a single fruit. Instead, it continues, creating new plants that will repeat the cycle. This continuity allows the pineapple plant to maintain its presence over time, producing fruit generation after generation. In this way, the pineapple plant demonstrates a form of growth that is both focused and enduring. It concentrates its energy into a single fruit, while ensuring that new plants are ready to continue the cycle. This combination of concentration and renewal defines its life cycle, creating a system that is both stable and ongoing. The transition from growth to flowering in the pineapple plant is a critical stage, one that determines not only when the fruit will develop, but also how it will be managed in cultivation. Unlike many plants that flower naturally in response to seasonal changes, the pineapple can be influenced in a more controlled way. Farmers have learned how to guide this process, using plant hormones to trigger flowering at a chosen time. This ability allows them to bring large numbers of plants into the same stage of development, creating a level of uniformity that would not occur naturally. In a natural setting, pineapple plants may flower at slightly different times, depending on their individual conditions. Variations in sunlight, moisture, and overall health can all influence when a plant begins to produce flowers. This staggered timing can make harvesting more difficult, as fruits would mature at different rates. By introducing plant hormones, growers can reduce this variation, encouraging an entire field of plants to flower together. This synchronization is essential for efficient farming, allowing the process of growth and harvest to be managed on a larger scale. Once flowering has been triggered, the plant begins the process of forming the structure that will become the fruit. A dense cluster of flowers emerges at the center of the plant, arranged in a precise pattern. These flowers do not all open at once. Instead, they bloom in sequence, each one contributing to the overall development of the pineapple. As each flower completes its cycle, it begins to form a small fruit, which then expands and merges with its neighbors. This gradual formation continues over a period of several months. The pineapple does not appear suddenly. It develops step by step, with each stage building upon the last. As the individual fruits grow, they press together, forming the continuous surface that defines the pineapple. The central core provides support, holding the structure together as it increases in size and weight. During this period of development, the plant continues to direct energy toward the fruit. The sugars that have been stored over time are now used to support growth, contributing to both the size and the flavor of the pineapple. This process is influenced by environmental conditions, particularly sunlight. The more sunlight the plant receives, the more energy it can produce, leading to a higher concentration of sugars within the fruit. As the fruit matures, its characteristics begin to change. The structure becomes firmer, and the surface develops the familiar pattern of repeating segments. The internal composition also shifts, with sugars becoming more concentrated. This stage is crucial, as it determines the final quality of the pineapple. The plant must continue to provide energy until the fruit reaches its full development. One of the most important aspects of pineapple cultivation is understanding that the fruit does not continue to ripen after it has been harvested. Unlike some fruits that can be picked early and allowed to ripen later, the pineapple must reach its full level of sweetness while still attached to the plant. Once it is removed, the process of sugar accumulation stops. This means the timing of harvest is critical. If the fruit is picked too early, it will not develop the same level of flavor. Growers must therefore monitor the development of the fruit carefully, waiting until it has reached the appropriate stage before harvesting. This requires attention to detail, as the external appearance of the pineapple does not always provide a complete indication of its internal sweetness. Factors such as aroma and overall condition are often used to determine when the fruit is ready. The ability to synchronize flowering helps to simplify this process. When all plants in a field flower at the same time, their fruits develop together, reaching maturity within a similar time frame. This allows for coordinated harvesting, reducing the need for repeated visits to the same field. It also ensures that the fruit collected is consistent in quality, as it has been grown under similar conditions. The development of the pineapple during this stage reflects the plant's long period of preparation. The energy stored over many months is now being used to support the growth of the fruit. Each stage of development depends on the resources that have been accumulated, highlighting the importance of the earlier phases of growth. The plant's ability to store and manage energy determines how well the fruit will develop. As the fruit approaches maturity, its weight increases, supported by the strong central core. This core acts as a structural element, helping the fruit remain attached to the plant as it grows. The surrounding flesh continues to develop, becoming more defined and filled with concentrated sugars. The balance between structure and softness is achieved gradually, resulting in a fruit that is both firm and rich in flavor. The process of flowering and fruit development is therefore not only about growth, but about timing and control. Each stage must occur in sequence, with the plant responding to both internal signals and external conditions. The use of plant hormones allows growers to influence this sequence, creating a level of predictability that supports large-scale cultivation. At the same time, the plant itself maintains its natural processes. The merging of flowers into fruit, the concentration of sugars, and the gradual increase in size all follow the same pattern, regardless of how flowering is initiated. This consistency ensures that the fruit develops in a way that reflects the plant's natural design, even within a managed environment. The importance of timing extends beyond the initial flowering stage. The entire period of fruit development must be monitored to ensure that conditions remain favorable. Adequate sunlight, proper moisture levels, and good airflow all contribute to the success of the process. Any imbalance can affect the quality of the fruit, making careful management essential. The final stage of this process is the harvest, where the fruit is removed from the plant at the point of full maturity. This moment represents the culmination of a long period of growth and preparation. The pineapple that is harvested is not simply the result of recent development, but of the entire cycle that began months or even years earlier. In this way, the flowering and harvest of the pineapple plant demonstrate how closely growth is tied to timing. The ability to control when flowering begins allows growers to manage the process more effectively, while the requirement for the fruit to ripen on the plant ensures that the final stage must be approached with precision. Together, these factors create a system where both natural processes and human management work together to produce a consistent and high-quality result. The structure of the pineapple fruit reveals another layer of complexity that goes beyond its outer form. At the center of the fruit lies a firm, fibrous core that runs from the base to the top. This core is not separate from the fruit itself, but an essential part of its structure, acting as a support that holds the entire formation together. As the pineapple develops and gains weight, this central column provides the strength needed to keep the fruit attached to the plant, ensuring that it remains stable throughout its growth. Although the core is firmer and more fibrous than the surrounding flesh, it is still edible. Its texture is different, offering more resistance when bitten, but it shares the same origin as the rest of the fruit. It is formed from the same process of merging flowers and developing tissues, shaped into a denser structure that supports the softer outer layers. This contrast between the core and the flesh reflects the plant's need to balance strength with nourishment, creating a fruit that can sustain its own weight while remaining suitable for consumption. Within the flesh of the pineapple, there is a substance that plays an important role, not only in the plant's biology, but also in how the fruit interacts with other materials. This substance is an enzyme known as bromelain. It is naturally present in fresh pineapple and is responsible for breaking down proteins. This function is part of the plant's internal chemistry, but it also has noticeable effects when the fruit is used in cooking or eaten fresh. Bromelain works by breaking down the structure of proteins into smaller components. This process can be observed when fresh pineapple is used with meat. The enzyme begins to act on the proteins in the meat, softening its texture and making it more tender. This is why pineapple is often used as a natural tenderizer. The same property that allows it to affect the fruit's own tissues can also influence other organic materials, demonstrating the active role that this enzyme plays. This effect is not limited to meat. Bromelain can also interact with other substances that rely on protein structures to maintain their form. One example of this is gelatin. Gelatin sets by forming a network of proteins that trap liquid, creating a stable structure. When fresh pineapple is added to a gelatin mixture, the bromelain interferes with this process. It breaks down the proteins before they can form a stable network, preventing the mixture from setting properly. Because of this, fresh pineapple cannot be used directly in gelatin-based desserts if the goal is to create a firm texture. The enzyme must first be deactivated. This is achieved through heat. When pineapple is cooked or canned, the heat alters the structure of the bromelain, stopping it from breaking down proteins. Once this has happened, the pineapple can be used in gelatin without affecting its ability to set. This difference between fresh and cooked pineapple highlights how the fruit's internal chemistry changes under different conditions. The presence of bromelain also explains a common sensation experienced when eating fresh pineapple. Some people notice a slight tingling or irritation in their mouth after consuming it. This is not caused by the acidity of the fruit alone, but by the action of the enzyme on the tissues of the mouth. Bromelain begins to break down the proteins on the surface of the skin, creating a mild reaction that can be felt as a tingling sensation. While this effect is usually temporary, it demonstrates how active the enzyme remains even after the fruit has been harvested. This interaction between the pineapple and the body reflects the same processes that occur within the fruit itself. The enzyme is part of the plant's internal system, contributing to the breakdown and transformation of materials. When the fruit is eaten, this system continues to operate, affecting the tissues it comes into contact with. In this way, the pineapple is not just a passive source of nutrition, but an active participant in chemical processes. The role of bromelain extends beyond its immediate effects. It also influences how the fruit must be handled in different contexts. In cooking, the presence of the enzyme requires careful consideration. Whether it is used to tenderize meat or incorporated into desserts, the state of the pineapple must be understood. Fresh pineapple behaves differently from cooked pineapple, and this difference can affect the outcome of a recipe. The structure of the fruit and the presence of bromelain are closely connected. The fibrous nature of the core, the softness of the flesh, and the activity of the enzyme all contribute to the overall characteristics of the pineapple. Each element plays a role in defining how the fruit is experienced, both in terms of texture and interaction. The development of these features is part of the plant's broader strategy. As the fruit forms, It must be both strong enough to remain attached to the plant and rich enough to fulfill its role in reproduction. The merging of individual fruits creates a dense structure, while the accumulation of sugars provides energy. The presence of bromelain adds another dimension, influencing how the fruit interacts with its environment and with those who consume it. This combination of structure and chemistry reflects the complexity of the pineapple plant. It is not only concerned with producing a fruit, but with creating a system that supports that fruit in multiple ways. The core provides strength, the flesh provides nourishment, and the enzyme introduces a dynamic element that affects both the fruit and its surroundings. As the pineapple reaches maturity, these elements come together to form a complete structure. The core holds the fruit in place, the flesh contains the concentrated sugars, and the enzyme remains active within the tissues. This balance ensures that the fruit can perform its role while maintaining its integrity. The interaction between the pineapple and external materials also highlights the broader significance of its properties. The ability of bromelain to break down proteins has led to its use in various applications, from cooking to other practical uses. This demonstrates how the natural characteristics of the fruit can extend beyond its immediate purpose, offering additional value. At the same time, the plant itself remains focused on its primary function. The development of the fruit is the result of a long process, supported by the accumulation of energy and the careful management of resources. The presence of bromelain and the structure of the core are part of this process, contributing to the overall effectiveness of the fruit. The pineapple plant does not produce these features by chance. Each element is the result of adaptation, shaped by the conditions in which the plant evolved. The combination of structural support and chemical activity allows the fruit to develop fully while maintaining its connection to the plant. This ensures that it can continue to grow until it reaches the point where it is ready to be harvested. In this way, the pineapple represents more than just a stage in the plant's life cycle. It is the outcome of a series of processes that work together to create a functional and complex structure. From the merging of flowers to the activity of enzymes, every part of the fruit reflects the plant's ability to organize and use its resources effectively. The leaves of the pineapple plant are not only structural elements that support growth, but also serve as a system of protection and resource management. In the humid environments where the plant originally developed, the risk of disease and decay is constant. Moisture, while necessary for growth, also creates conditions where fungi and other harmful organisms can thrive. To counter this, the pineapple plant has developed its own internal defenses, using the chemistry of its leaves to resist these threats. Within the tissues of the leaves, natural antifungal compounds are produced. These substances act as a protective barrier, helping to prevent the growth of organisms that could damage the plant. This defense is not passive. It is an active part of the plant's biology, continuously working to maintain the health of the leaves in environments where decay would otherwise spread quickly. The presence of these compounds allows the plant to survive in conditions that might be too hostile for other species, reinforcing its ability to endure in humid climates. The leaves themselves are designed to withstand more than just biological threats. They are extremely tough and fibrous, with a structure that resists tearing and damage. This strength protects the plant from physical stress, including strong winds and contact with animals. The edges of the leaves are lined with small spines, adding another layer of defense. These spines discourage animals from feeding on the plant, reducing the risk of damage that could interfere with its growth. The fibrous nature of the leaves has also made them valuable beyond the life of the plant itself. For many years, people have used fibers extracted from pineapple leaves to create materials such as cloth and rope. These fibers are both strong and lightweight, making them suitable for a variety of uses. The process of extracting and weaving these fibers reflects an understanding of the plant's structure, recognizing the durability that is built into its leaves. In more recent developments, these fibers have attracted attention as a potential resource for sustainable materials. Scientists and manufacturers have begun to explore how pineapple leaf fibers can be used in the production of textiles and bioplastics. This interest is driven by the need for materials that are both strong and environmentally responsible. The pineapple plant, through its natural design, offers a source of fiber that can be used without the need for synthetic alternatives. This connection between the plant and its wider applications highlights the multiple roles that its leaves play. They are not only essential for the plant's survival, but also provide resources that extend beyond the plant itself. The same properties that protect the plant in its natural environment also make the leaves useful in human applications, demonstrating how biological structures can have practical value. The arrangement of the leaves also contributes to the plant's overall function. They grow in a tight rosette, forming a central space where water can collect. This structure allows the plant to capture and hold small amounts of moisture, providing a reserve that can be used during dry periods. At the same time, the design of the rosette allows excess water to drain away, preventing it from remaining in place long enough to cause damage. This balance between retention and drainage is essential in humid environments, where too much water can be as harmful as too little. The plant must be able to make use of available moisture without allowing it to accumulate in a way that encourages decay. The structure of the leaves supports this balance, ensuring that the plant remains stable under varying conditions. Despite these adaptations, the pineapple plant is still sensitive to certain environmental factors, particularly temperature. It cannot tolerate frost or cold conditions. Even a mild freeze can damage the plant, interrupting its growth and preventing the development of fruit. This sensitivity limits the regions where the plant can be grown, confining it to climates where temperatures remain consistently warm. The need for warmth is closely linked to the plant's internal processes. Its methods of conserving water and managing energy are designed for environments where heat is constant. When exposed to cold, these processes become less effective, and the plant's ability to function is reduced. This makes temperature one of the most important factors in determining the success of pineapple cultivation. In addition to temperature, the plant requires conditions that allow for good airflow. While it benefits from moisture, it cannot tolerate environments where water becomes trapped around its center. The area where the leaves meet, known as the crown, is particularly vulnerable. If water collects here and does not dry quickly, it can lead to rot, damaging the plant and halting its development. To prevent this, growers often choose locations or methods that promote drainage and airflow. Raised beds, sloped ground, and careful spacing between plants all help to ensure that excess moisture does not remain in contact with the plant for too long. These practices reflect an understanding of the plant's needs, creating conditions that support its natural adaptations. The pineapple plant's resistance to larger pests is supported by the toughness of its leaves. The spiny edges and fibrous structure make it difficult for animals to feed on the plant, providing a level of protection that reduces the need for additional defenses. However, smaller insects can still pose a threat. Pests such as scale insects and mealybugs can find shelter within the folds and crevices of the leaves, where they are protected from external conditions. These insects feed on the plant's sap, drawing nutrients and weakening the plant over time. Because they often hide within the structure of the leaves, they can be difficult to detect. Their presence can lead to a gradual decline in the plant's health, affecting both growth and fruit development. Managing these pests requires careful attention, ensuring that they do not become established within the plant. The structure of the rosette can also contribute to the conditions that allow pests to thrive. While it helps the plant retain water, it can also create small pockets where moisture remains trapped. This standing water can provide an environment for pests and pathogens, increasing the risk of infestation or disease. The plant must therefore balance its need to capture water with the need to prevent it from accumulating. Good airflow plays a key role in maintaining this balance. By allowing air to move freely around the plant, moisture can evaporate more quickly, reducing the conditions that support pests and disease. This is why spacing between plants is important, as it ensures that each plant has access to sufficient airflow. The interaction between the plant and its environment is a constant process of adjustment. The pineapple must manage water, resist disease, and protect itself from pests, all while continuing to grow and develop its fruit. Each of these factors influences the others, creating a system that requires balance rather than extremes. The strength of the leaves, the presence of antifungal compounds, and the structure of the rosette all contribute to this system. Together, they allow the plant to maintain its health under a range of conditions, supporting its long growth cycle. Without these features, the plant would be more vulnerable to the challenges of its environment, and its ability to produce fruit would be reduced. As the plant continues through its life cycle, these protective and structural features remain active. They do not disappear once the fruit begins to develop, but continue to support the plant until the end of its cycle. The leaves protect, manage, and sustain the plant, ensuring that it can complete the process it has begun. In this way, the pineapple plant demonstrates how structure and defense can be integrated into a single system. The leaves are not separate from the plant's growth, but an essential part of it. They protect the plant from harm, manage its resources, and contribute to its ability to produce fruit. This combination of functions reflects the plant's ability to adapt and survive, using its structure to meet the demands of its environment. The pineapple plant can be reproduced in more than one way, and this flexibility allows it to continue its life cycle even after the main plant has completed its role. One of the most familiar methods of propagation comes from the leafy crown at the top of the fruit. This crown is not just a decorative feature. It contains a dormant growing point, a part of the plant that has the ability to develop into a new individual if it is placed in the right conditions. When the crown is removed and planted in soil, it begins a slow process of transformation. At first, there is little visible change. Beneath the surface, roots begin to form, extending outward to anchor the plant and absorb moisture. This stage requires patience, as the plant establishes itself gradually. It does not grow rapidly, but builds its structure over time, following the same careful pattern seen in the original plant. The development of a crown-grown plant can take many months before it becomes fully established. During this period, the plant focuses on creating a stable root system and expanding its leaves. Only once it has reached a sufficient level of growth does it begin to move toward the production of fruit. This entire process can take 2 to 3 years before a pineapple is produced, reflecting the long cycle that defines the plant's life. In addition to crowns, pineapple plants can also be propagated through the side shoots that develop after the main plant has fruited. These shoots, often called pups, emerge from the base of the plant and grow into new individuals. Because they are already connected to a mature plant, they often establish more quickly than crowns. They carry the same genetic material, ensuring that the fruit they produce will be consistent with that of the original plant. Each pineapple plant produces only one marketable fruit during its life cycle. After this, the plant's role shifts entirely towards supporting the growth of new plants. This means the continuation of pineapple production depends on the careful management of these offspring. Growers must decide how to use crowns and pups to maintain a steady supply of fruit, balancing the need for new plants with the time required for them to mature. The long period required for growth means that pineapple farming is not a process that can be adjusted quickly. Decisions made at one stage will affect the outcome years later. If planting is delayed or disrupted, it can lead to gaps in production that cannot be easily corrected. This makes planning an essential part of cultivation, as growers must consider not only the present, but also the future cycles of growth. As the pineapple fruit develops, the accumulation of sugars becomes one of the most important factors in determining its quality. These sugars are not evenly distributed throughout the growth process. Instead, they concentrate during the later stages of development, increasing as the fruit approaches maturity. This means the final period before harvest is critical, as it is during this time that the fruit gains much of its sweetness. The amount of sunlight the plant receives plays a direct role in this process. Sunlight provides the energy needed for photosynthesis, allowing the plant to produce and store sugars. When a pineapple plant is exposed to strong, consistent sunlight, it is able to generate higher levels of sugar, resulting in a sweeter fruit. In contrast, a plant that grows in shaded conditions may produce a fruit that is less sweet, as it has less energy available for sugar production. Air movement also influences the development of the fruit, though its effects can vary. A gentle breeze can be beneficial, helping to reduce excess moisture and lower the risk of disease. By keeping the plant dry, airflow supports the health of both the leaves and the developing fruit. However, strong winds can have the opposite effect, damaging the leaves and disrupting the plant's ability to function. The balance between these conditions is important, as both too little and too much airflow can affect the plant's growth. The interaction between sunlight and airflow creates a set of conditions that must be carefully managed. Growers aim to provide enough sunlight to maximize sugar production, while ensuring that the plant is protected from excessive wind. This balance helps to create an environment where the pineapple can develop fully, reaching the level of sweetness that defines its quality. As the fruit continues to mature, its weight increases due to the concentration of sugars. This increase is not simply a result of growth, but of the accumulation of energy that has been stored over time. The plant directs its resources toward the fruit, ensuring that it reaches its full potential before it is harvested. The characteristics of the pineapple at this stage can vary depending on its size. Smaller pineapples often have a more concentrated flavor, as they contain less water relative to their sugar content. This can result in a fruit that is intensely sweet. Larger pineapples, on the other hand, may be juicier, but their flavor can be more diluted. This variation reflects the balance between water and sugar within the fruit, showing how size can influence taste. Determining when a pineapple is ready to harvest requires attention to subtle changes. The color of the fruit is not always a reliable indicator of ripeness. While a golden surface may suggest that the fruit is mature, it does not guarantee sweetness. Instead, growers often rely on aroma as a more accurate signal. As the pineapple ripens, it develops a distinct, sweet scent that indicates the concentration of sugars within the fruit. This reliance on aroma reflects the complexity of the ripening process. The changes that occur within the fruit are not always visible on the outside. They involve shifts in the internal composition, as sugars accumulate and the structure of the flesh becomes more defined. These changes must reach a certain point before the fruit is considered ready, making careful observation essential. Once the fruit has reached this stage, it must be harvested at the right time. Because pineapples do not continue to ripen after they are picked, the decision to harvest cannot be delayed or rushed. If the fruit is removed too early, it will not develop the same level of sweetness. If it is left too long, it may begin to deteriorate. This narrow window requires precision, as the quality of the fruit depends on the timing of this final step. The process of propagation and fruit development is therefore closely connected. The way in which new plants are created influences the timing of future harvests, while the conditions under which the fruit develops determine its quality. Each stage is part of a larger cycle, where growth, reproduction, and harvest are linked together. The pineapple plant's approach to reproduction and development reflects its overall strategy of patience and efficiency. It does not produce quickly, but invests time in building the conditions needed for success. From the slow establishment of new plants to the gradual accumulation of sugars, each step is carried out with a focus on long-term results. This system requires both consistency and careful management. Growers must work with the natural processes of the plant, providing conditions that support its development while respecting the time it needs to complete its cycle. The result is a fruit that carries the effects of this extended process, shaped by the interaction of sunlight, water, and time. In this way, the pineapple plant demonstrates how growth can be guided without being rushed. Its methods of propagation ensure continuity, while its approach to fruit development ensures quality. Together, these processes create a system that is both stable and productive, allowing the plant to maintain its cycle over time. The pineapple has not always been a common fruit, and its history reflects a time when it was considered rare and highly valued. In earlier periods, particularly in Europe, the pineapple was not easily obtained. It did not grow naturally in colder climates, and transporting it over long distances was difficult. As a result, it became a symbol of something unusual and desirable, representing both wealth and the ability to access distant regions. Because of this rarity, the pineapple gained a reputation that extended beyond its role as food. It became associated with hospitality and status. To present a pineapple at a gathering was to show that one had the means to acquire something that others could not easily obtain. This association grew over time, turning the fruit into a symbol that appeared not only in meals, but also in decoration and design. In the 18th century, this value reached a point where people began to create environments specifically designed to grow pineapples in places where they would not naturally survive. Wealthy individuals built specialized hothouses, structures that could maintain the warmth and conditions needed for the plant to grow. These hothouses were not simple constructions. They required careful control of temperature and airflow, as well as an understanding of the plant's needs. The effort involved in building and maintaining such spaces added to the status associated with the fruit. The presence of a pineapple in these settings was not always tied to consumption. In some cases, the fruit itself was displayed as a sign of wealth rather than eaten. It could be placed at the center of a table as a decorative piece, admired for its form and rarity. In certain instances, pineapples were even rented for this purpose, allowing hosts to present them at gatherings without necessarily owning them. This practice reflects the extent to which the fruit had become a symbol, valued as much for its appearance as for its taste. The influence of the pineapple extended into architecture and design. Its distinctive shape inspired carvings and motifs that appeared in doorways, furniture, and decorative elements. These representations served as a sign of welcome, reflecting the association between the fruit and hospitality. Even in places where the fruit itself was not present, its image conveyed a message of generosity and openness. This historical significance is connected to the plant's unique characteristics. The pineapple was not only rare, but also unlike other fruits. Its structure, formed from many individual components, set it apart from more familiar forms. This difference contributed to its appeal, making it a subject of curiosity as well as admiration. The combination of rarity and distinctiveness created a fruit that captured attention and held it. As the pineapple became more widely cultivated, its role began to shift. Advances in agriculture and transport made it more accessible, reducing the exclusivity that had once defined it. However, its historical associations did not disappear. The symbolism of the pineapple as a sign of hospitality and value remained, even as the fruit itself became more common. The process of cultivating pineapples also played a role in shaping agricultural practices. Because the plant requires a long period to produce fruit, it introduced a different approach to farming. Unlike crops that can be planted and harvested within a single season, pineapples require planning over multiple years. This extended timeline means that farmers must think ahead, considering not only the current crop, but also those that will develop in the future. Each pineapple plant represents a long-term investment. From the moment it is planted, it begins a process that will take years to complete. During this time, the plant must be maintained, protected and monitored. Any disruption, such as a storm or a period of drought, can affect the outcome. Because the plant grows slowly, there is limited opportunity to correct these issues once they occur. This makes stability and consistency essential in pineapple farming. The need for long-term planning influences how fields are managed. Growers must consider how many plants to establish, when to introduce new ones, and how to maintain a steady cycle of production. Because each plant produces only one fruit, new plants must be continually introduced to replace those that have completed their cycle. This creates a system where planting and harvesting are interconnected, with each stage influencing the next. The time required for growth also means that the effects of any disruption can extend beyond a single season. If a crop is lost due to environmental factors, the impact is not limited to that moment. It can affect supply for years, as new plants must go through the full growth cycle before they can produce fruit. This makes pineapple farming particularly sensitive to changes in conditions, requiring careful management to reduce risk. The connection between the plant's biology and agricultural planning highlights the importance of understanding the full growth cycle. Farmers must work with the plant's natural timeline, adapting their methods to support its development. This includes managing resources such as water, nutrients, and space, ensuring that each plant has the conditions it needs to grow over an extended period. The structure of pineapple farming also reflects the need for balance. Planting too many crops at once can create a large harvest, but it may lead to gaps in production later. Spacing plantings over time allows for a more consistent supply, but requires careful coordination. This balance between immediate output and long-term stability is a key aspect of managing pineapple fields. The role of the pineapple in agriculture extends beyond its economic value. Studying the plant has contributed to a broader understanding of the bromeliad family, revealing the diversity within this group. The pineapple's terrestrial growth, combined with its unique fruit structure, provides insight into how different members of the family have adapted to their environments. This knowledge has helped botanists understand the range of strategies that plants use to survive and reproduce. The development of plantation systems in tropical regions was also influenced by the cultivation of pineapples. The need to manage large numbers of plants over long periods required organized approaches to farming. This included the division of land into sections, the coordination of planting schedules, and the allocation of resources to support growth. These systems were shaped by the characteristics of the crop, reflecting the influence of the pineapple on agricultural practices. The long cycle of the pineapple plant reinforces the idea that growth is not always immediate. It requires time, consistency, and attention to detail. Each stage builds upon the previous one, creating a process that cannot be rushed. This approach contrasts with crops that produce quickly, highlighting the diversity of methods used in agriculture. The relationship between time and growth is also reflected in the fruit itself. Each pineapple represents the accumulation of energy and resources over an extended period. It carries within it the effects of the conditions in which it was grown, shaped by the environment and the care it received. This connection between the plant and its surroundings is evident in the final product, linking the fruit to the process that created it. The historical significance of the pineapple combined with its role in agriculture, demonstrates how a single plant can influence both cultural and practical systems. It has been valued for its rarity, used as a symbol of hospitality, and studied for its unique characteristics. At the same time, it has shaped the way farming is approached, introducing methods that reflect its long and deliberate growth cycle. The pineapple's journey from a rare and valued fruit to a widely cultivated crop reflects the interaction between natural processes and human activity. Its spread across the world, its influence on design and culture, and its role in agriculture all stem from its unique properties. These properties have made it both a subject of admiration and a practical resource, connecting its history to its continued presence in the modern world. The balance of nutrients within the soil plays a decisive role in how a pineapple plant grows and how its fruit ultimately develops. Although the plant is capable of surviving in soils that are considered poor, the quality of the fruit it produces is closely tied to the availability and proportion of specific nutrients. The plant does not simply require nutrients in large quantities. It requires them in the correct balance, where each element supports a different aspect of growth without overpowering the others. One of the most important relationships within this balance involves nitrogen. Nitrogen supports the growth of leaves, encouraging the plant to produce lush, green foliage. While this may appear beneficial, an excess of nitrogen can lead to an imbalance. When too much energy is directed toward leaf growth, less is available for the development of the fruit. The plant may appear healthy, with strong leaves and rapid growth, but the quality of the pineapple itself can be reduced. The fruit may become less sweet, as the sugars that would normally concentrate within it are diluted. In contrast, nutrients such as potassium play a different role. Potassium supports the movement of sugars within the plant, helping to direct them toward the developing fruit. This movement is essential for the formation of flavor, as it allows the sugars produced through photosynthesis to accumulate where they are needed. Without sufficient potassium, the process of sugar transfer becomes less effective, and the fruit may not reach its full potential. The interaction between these nutrients reflects the need for careful management. Too much of one element can disrupt the balance, while too little of another can limit the plant's ability to function. Farmers must therefore adjust the composition of the soil, ensuring that it provides the right conditions for both growth and fruit development. This process requires observation and experience, as the effects of nutrient balance are not always immediately visible. The mineral content of the soil also influences the taste and acidity of the pineapple. Variations in the composition of the soil can lead to differences in flavor, even when other conditions remain the same. This means the environment in which the plant grows becomes part of the identity of the fruit, shaping its characteristics in subtle ways. The pineapple is therefore not only a product of the plant itself, but also of the soil that supports it. The size of the fruit is another factor that reflects this balance. Smaller pineapples often develop a more concentrated flavor, as they contain less water relative to their sugar content. This concentration creates a more intense taste, where the sweetness is more pronounced. Larger pineapples, while often more visually impressive, may contain more water, leading to a flavor that is less concentrated. This difference highlights the relationship between size, water content, and sugar accumulation. Determining the quality of a pineapple requires attention to characteristics that are not always immediately obvious. The color of the fruit, while often associated with ripeness, is not a reliable indicator of sweetness. A pineapple with a golden exterior may not necessarily be sweeter than one with a greener appearance. Instead, the development of aroma provides a more accurate signal. As the fruit reaches maturity, it produces a distinct scent that reflects the concentration of sugars within it. This aroma becomes a key indicator for growers, guiding the decision of when to harvest. The process of harvesting must be carried out with precision, as the fruit does not continue to develop after it is removed from the plant. Once picked, the pineapple retains the level of sweetness it has already reached. This makes timing essential, as the fruit must be allowed to mature fully while still attached to the plant. The decision to harvest is therefore based on a combination of observation and experience, ensuring that the fruit has reached the point where its flavor is fully developed. The life of a pineapple plant does not end with the harvest of its fruit. Through the growth of side shoots, the plant continues its cycle, producing new individuals that will carry forward the process. These new plants inherit the characteristics of the original, creating a continuity that allows fields to remain productive over time. However, each generation of plants may produce fruit that is slightly smaller than the previous one. This gradual change reflects the ongoing nature of the cycle, where each stage builds upon the last. The way in which pineapple plants are arranged within a field also affects their growth and productivity. Planting density plays a significant role in determining how the plants interact with one another. When plants are placed close together, the total yield per area may increase, as more plants are producing fruit within the same space. However, this increased density can reduce airflow, creating conditions where moisture is more likely to be retained. This can lead to a higher risk of disease, as the environment becomes more favorable for the growth of harmful organisms. Wider spacing between plants provides a different set of advantages. With more space, air can move freely between the plants, helping to reduce moisture and lower the risk of disease. The plants may also have more access to sunlight, supporting their growth and the development of their fruit. However, this approach results in fewer plants within a given area, reducing the total yield. Growers must therefore find a balance between these two approaches, selecting a spacing that supports both productivity and plant health. Watering is another factor that must be carefully managed. Pineapple plants require a steady supply of moisture to support their growth, but they do not tolerate extremes. If the plant receives too little water, its growth may be limited, and the fruit it produces may be smaller. On the other hand, too much water can lead to problems such as root and crown rot, damaging the plant and reducing its ability to function. The goal is to provide enough moisture to support growth, while avoiding conditions that could lead to excess. Within a pineapple field, the arrangement of plants creates a microclimate that influences these conditions. The leaves of the plants trap heat near the ground, maintaining a slightly warmer environment around the roots. This retained heat allows the plant to remain active for longer periods, extending its ability to carry out essential processes. At the same time, the structure of the field affects how moisture is distributed and how air moves between the plants, shaping the overall environment in which they grow. The interaction between soil, water, and plant structure also plays a role in the sustainability of pineapple farming. The shallow root system of the plants can help stabilize soil, particularly on slopes where erosion might otherwise occur. By holding the surface layer in place, the plants reduce the loss of soil during rainfall, contributing to the long-term stability of the land. However, pineapple farming can also place demands on the soil. Because the plants remain in the ground for extended periods, the nutrients within the soil can become depleted over time. This depletion must be managed to ensure that the land remains productive. Farmers may allow fields to rest between cycles, or introduce cover crops that help restore nutrients. These practices support the recovery of the soil, allowing it to continue to support future growth. The need for sustainability reflects the long-term nature of pineapple cultivation. Each planting represents a commitment to a process that unfolds over years, requiring careful management to maintain both productivity and environmental health. The balance between use and recovery becomes an essential part of the system, ensuring that the land can continue to support the plant. The pineapple itself serves as a reminder of this extended process. Each fruit represents not only the growth of a single plant, but the culmination of a series of conditions that have been maintained over time. It carries within it the effects of sunlight, water, soil, and care, reflecting the interaction between natural processes and human management. In a world where many crops are grown quickly and harvested within short periods, the pineapple stands apart. Its development requires patience, with each stage building upon the last. This slow progression creates a connection between the plant and the rhythms of its environment, aligning its growth with the passage of time rather than the demands of rapid production. The global presence of the pineapple reflects the value that has been placed on this process. From its origins in South America to its spread across tropical regions, the plant has been cultivated in a variety of environments, each contributing to its continued development. Its journey across the world is a reflection of both its adaptability and its appeal, showing how a plant can move beyond its original habitat while maintaining its essential characteristics. At the same time, the pineapple remains connected to its origins. The traits that allowed it to survive in challenging conditions continue to define how it grows today. Its ability to conserve water, use nutrients efficiently, and adapt to its environment remains central to its success. These characteristics are not only part of its history, but part of its ongoing presence in agriculture. Each pineapple that is harvested carries the result of this long and deliberate process. It is the product of time, shaped by the conditions in which it was grown and the care that was provided. It represents a balance between growth and conservation, where each stage contributes to the final outcome. The long cycle of pineapple cultivation continues to shape how farmers think about time, planning, and responsibility. Unlike crops that can be planted and harvested within a single season, the pineapple demands a longer view. Each decision made at the beginning of the process carries forward into the future, influencing not only the current harvest, but those that will follow. This creates a relationship between the grower and the land that extends beyond immediate results, requiring patience and foresight. Because each plant takes years to produce fruit, the timing of planting becomes critical. Growers often stagger the introduction of new plants, ensuring that different sections of a field are at different stages of development. This allows for a more consistent supply of fruit over time, rather than a single large harvest followed by a long period without production. The field becomes a sequence of overlapping cycles, where new growth is always beginning as older plants reach maturity. This approach reflects an understanding of continuity. The pineapple plant does not produce quickly, but it does produce steadily when managed correctly. By aligning planting schedules with the plant's natural timeline, growers can create a rhythm that supports ongoing production. This rhythm must be maintained carefully, as disruptions can take years to correct. The relationship between the plant and the soil is also part of this long-term cycle. While the pineapple can grow in soils that are not rich, it still draws nutrients from the ground over time. Without careful management, these nutrients can become depleted, reducing the ability of the soil to support future crops. This is why sustainable practices are essential in pineapple farming, ensuring that the land remains productive across multiple cycles. One method used to maintain soil health is allowing fields to rest between plantings. During these periods, the soil is given time to recover, restoring the balance of nutrients that has been used by the previous crop. In some cases, farmers introduce cover crops that help to replenish the soil, adding organic matter and improving its structure. These practices support the long-term sustainability of the land, ensuring that it can continue to support pineapple cultivation. The shallow root system of the pineapple plant also contributes to soil stability. By spreading across the surface, the roots help to hold the soil in place, particularly in areas where erosion might occur. On slopes or in regions with heavy rainfall, this can reduce the loss of soil, preserving the land for future use. In this way, the plant not only draws from the soil, but also contributes to its stability. However, this balance must be maintained carefully. If the land is used continuously without allowing for recovery, the soil can become exhausted. This reduces the quality of future crops, affecting both the size and the flavor of the fruit. Sustainable practices are therefore not only beneficial for the environment, but also essential for maintaining the quality of production. The pineapple's role in the global food system reflects this balance between time, care, and productivity. Each fruit represents a long process, shaped by the interaction between plant, environment, and human management. It is not the result of rapid growth, but of sustained effort over time. This makes the pineapple different from many other crops, highlighting the importance of patience in its cultivation. The journey of the pineapple from its origin to its place in the modern world is also a reflection of this process. From its beginnings in South America, it spread across regions through human movement and cultivation. Its adaptability allowed it to establish itself in new environments, while its unique characteristics ensured that it remained valued. Over time, it became part of a global system, connecting different regions through its production and distribution. Despite this global presence, the pineapple retains its connection to the natural processes that define its growth. It cannot be rushed, and it cannot be produced instantly. Each fruit carries the imprint of the time it has taken to develop, reflecting the conditions in which it was grown. This connection to time is part of what gives the pineapple its character, linking it to the rhythms of the environment. In a broader sense, The pineapple serves as an example of how agriculture can align with natural processes. Rather than forcing rapid growth, it requires an approach that respects the pace of the plant. This approach encourages careful management, where each stage of growth is supported rather than accelerated. The result is a system that produces fruit while maintaining balance with the environment. The presence of the pineapple in different parts of the world also reflects the exchange of knowledge and practice. Techniques for growing and managing the plant have been developed and refined over time, allowing it to be cultivated in a variety of conditions. This shared understanding has contributed to the plant's continued success, demonstrating how knowledge can support sustainable production. As the pineapple continues to be grown and harvested, it remains connected to its origins. The characteristics that allowed it to survive in challenging conditions continue to define its growth, ensuring that it remains adaptable and resilient. This connection between past and present highlights the continuity of the plant's development, linking its history to its ongoing role in agriculture. Each pineapple that reaches maturity is therefore more than a simple fruit. It is the result of a process that has unfolded over time, shaped by the interaction between plant, soil, water, and sunlight. It reflects the balance between growth and conservation, where each stage contributes to the final outcome. This process continues with each new plant, creating a cycle that extends beyond individual harvests. The pineapple plant demonstrates how a single species can integrate multiple systems into a cohesive whole. Its structure supports its growth, its chemistry influences its interactions, and its life cycle connects it to both the environment and the practices of cultivation. These elements work together to create a plant that is both efficient and enduring. The long cycle of pineapple cultivation also shapes how growers think about risk and stability. Because the plant requires such an extended period to reach maturity, any disruption during that time can have lasting consequences. A single storm, a prolonged period without water, or a shift in temperature can interrupt months of growth. Unlike faster crops, where losses can be replaced within a season, the pineapple does not offer that flexibility. Recovery takes time, and the effects of disruption can extend across multiple growing cycles. This vulnerability encourages careful planning and attention to detail. Growers must consider not only the present condition of their fields, but also how those conditions may change over time. The long growth period means that the environment must remain stable for extended stretches, allowing the plant to continue its development without interruption. This creates a deeper connection between the grower and the land, where observation and adjustment become part of the process. The relationship between time and growth also influences how success is measured. In crops that develop quickly, results can be seen within weeks or months. With the pineapple, the outcome is delayed, requiring patience and consistency. Each stage of development must be supported without immediate reward, building toward a result that will only become visible much later. This approach changes the rhythm of cultivation, aligning it more closely with long-term cycles rather than immediate output. The pineapple plant also reflects a balance between individuality and uniformity. Each plant follows the same basic pattern of growth, producing a single fruit and then generating new plants through side shoots. At the same time, each plant responds to its specific conditions, influenced by the amount of sunlight, water, and nutrients it receives. This creates subtle variations within a field, where no two fruits are entirely identical, even though they share the same origin. These variations contribute to the character of the fruit, linking it to the conditions in which it was grown. A pineapple that has received optimal sunlight and balanced moisture will develop differently from one that has faced limitations. This connection between environment and outcome highlights the role of external factors in shaping the fruit, reinforcing the importance of maintaining consistent conditions. The pineapple's place in the global food system also reflects the value of its slow development. In a world where many foods are produced rapidly, the pineapple remains tied to a longer timeline. Its cultivation requires a commitment to processes that cannot be rushed, creating a contrast with systems that prioritize speed. This difference adds to the fruit's significance, connecting it to a more deliberate form of growth. The journey of the pineapple from its origin to its place in modern agriculture demonstrates how a plant can move across regions while maintaining its core characteristics. It has adapted to new environments, yet continues to rely on the same principles that defined its development in South America. This consistency ensures that the fruit retains its identity, even as it is grown in different parts of the world. The continued cultivation of the pineapple also reflects the exchange of knowledge between growers. Techniques for managing soil, water, and nutrients have been refined over time, allowing the plant to be grown more effectively. This shared knowledge supports the plant's global presence, ensuring that it can be cultivated in ways that respect both its needs and the conditions of the land. At the same time, the pineapple remains a reminder of the connection between growth and patience. Its development cannot be separated from the time it requires, and each fruit represents the accumulation of months and years of effort. This connection to time gives the pineapple a quality that extends beyond its appearance and taste, linking it to the processes that created it. The final stages of the plant cycle bring together all of these elements. The soil that supported its growth, the water it conserved, the sunlight it absorbed, and the care it received all contribute to the fruit that is produced. Each factor plays a role, creating a result that reflects the balance achieved throughout the process. In this way, the pineapple plant stands as an example of how complexity can be built through simple, consistent steps. It does not rely on rapid change, but on steady development. Each stage follows naturally from the one before, creating a process that is both structured and continuous. This approach allows the plant to maintain stability while adapting to its environment, ensuring that it can continue its cycle over time. The final stages of the pineapple's development also highlight the importance of consistency. By the time the fruit approaches maturity, the plant has already completed most of the work required to support it. The sugars have been stored, the structure has been formed, and the conditions have been maintained over an extended period. At this point, even small changes can influence the final outcome, making stability essential. The plant continues to regulate its internal processes, ensuring that the balance between moisture and energy remains steady. Any sudden shift in conditions, such as excessive rainfall or prolonged dryness, can affect the concentration of sugars within the fruit. This sensitivity reflects the long period of preparation that has taken place, where each stage has contributed to the final result. As the fruit reaches its full development, The connection between all stages of growth becomes clear. The early formation of leaves, the conservation of water, the accumulation of energy, and the management of nutrients all come together in the final structure. The pineapple is therefore not defined by a single moment, but by the entire sequence that has led to its creation. The presence of the crown at the top of the fruit also reflects this continuity. While the fruit itself represents the completion of one cycle, the crown carries the potential for another. It holds within it the ability to begin the process again, linking the end of one stage to the beginning of the next. This transition ensures that the cycle of growth does not stop, but continues forward. In this way, the pineapple plant demonstrates a balance between completion and renewal. Each fruit marks the end of a long process, while also providing the means for a new one to begin. This ongoing cycle connects each generation of plants, maintaining a steady progression that reflects both stability and change. The experience of the pineapple, from its early development to its final harvest, is shaped by this continuity. It is the result of a system that values consistency, patience, and balance, where each stage supports the next. The fruit itself becomes a reflection of this process, carrying within it the history of its growth and the conditions that shaped it. As the cycle continues, each new plant carries forward the same process, shaped by the same balance of time and conditions. The repetition of this pattern does not create exact copies, but consistent results, where each fruit reflects both the stability of the system and the subtle differences of its environment. This combination of consistency and variation gives the pineapple its enduring character, linking each harvest to the one before it, while allowing each fruit to stand on its own. Thank you for listening to the Sleepy Mind channel. I hope you enjoyed learning about the pineapple plant. The study of this plant has also contributed to a broader understanding of how long-term crops are managed within agricultural systems. Because the pineapple requires extended periods to reach maturity, it highlights the importance of stability, planning, and environmental balance. Farmers must work in alignment with the plant rather than forcing rapid outcomes. This relationship creates a system where patience becomes a central part of production and where each stage must be supported for the next to succeed. Fertilization within pineapple cultivation is approached with this same sense of balance. The plant does not require heavy feeding, but it does respond to careful nutrient management. Nitrogen supports leaf development, allowing the plant to expand its surface area and capture more sunlight. However, excessive nitrogen can shift the plant's focus away from fruit development, resulting in large leaves but weaker fruit formation. Potassium plays a different role, supporting the movement and concentration of sugars within the plant. When these nutrients are balanced correctly, the plant is able to grow steadily while also producing fruit with improved flavor and structure. The arrangement of plants within a field influences not only yield, but also the conditions each plant experiences. When plants are spaced too closely, airflow is reduced and moisture can become trapped between them. This increases the risk of disease and slows the drying of surfaces after rainfall. When spacing is increased, airflow improves, but fewer plants can be grown within the same area. This creates a balance between productivity and plant health, requiring careful planning to maintain both. This arrangement also creates a microclimate within the field. The leaves of the plants trap warmth near the ground, creating a slightly elevated temperature around the root zone. This can support growth, but it also means that moisture must be carefully controlled. Too much moisture in this environment can lead to rot, while too little can limit development. The interaction between spacing, airflow, and moisture creates a system that must be monitored continuously. Over time, the repeated cultivation of pineapple plants affects the soil in which they grow. Nutrients are gradually used, and without intervention, the soil can become less productive. To maintain long-term viability, growers may rotate crops or allow fields to rest, giving the soil time to recover. This approach reflects an understanding that the land itself is part of the system and must be maintained in order to support future growth. The pineapple plant also contributes to soil stability. Its shallow root system spreads across the surface, helping to hold the soil in place. In areas with slopes or heavy rainfall, this can reduce erosion, preserving the structure of the land. While the roots do not extend deeply, their spread creates a network that supports the surface layer, linking the plant's growth to the condition of the soil. Globally, the pineapple has become one of the most widely recognized tropical fruits. It is grown in many regions where the climate supports its needs, and it is transported across long distances to reach markets around the world. Despite this global presence, the plant retains the characteristics that define its growth. It still requires warmth, sunlight, and careful management, and it still follows the same slow cycle that begins with leaf growth and ends with a single fruit. Each pineapple represents the full process of its development. It reflects the conditions in which it was grown, the balance of nutrients it received, and the time it was allowed to mature. The sweetness of the fruit is not created at the moment of harvest, but built gradually over months and years. This makes the pineapple not only a product of growth, but a record of the entire cycle that produced it. As the plant completes its cycle, the continuation of growth is ensured through the development of new plants. Crowns and pups carry forward the same genetic material, creating a consistent pattern across generations. This continuity allows the process to repeat, maintaining the presence of the plant across time. The pineapple plant demonstrates a system that is both structured and adaptable. It grows slowly, conserves its resources, and directs its energy toward a single outcome. At the same time, it responds to its environment, adjusting its processes to maintain balance. This combination of stability and flexibility allows it to thrive in conditions that might otherwise be limiting. What begins as a cluster of flowers becomes a single unified fruit, shaped by time and supported by a network of processes that work together. The pineapple is not the result of rapid growth, but of steady development, where each stage builds upon the last. It is a plant that does not rush, but completes its cycle with precision, creating a result that reflects both its structure and its environment. Thank you for listening to the Sleepy Mind channel. I hope you enjoyed learning about the pineapple plant.